Take 2 of this podcast. My umbrella's just got destroyed. It's absolutely shelling it down here in London. And you know what? Podcast or no podcast, I don't really care. I'm going to get wet for the podcast, so it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So here I am, just getting absolutely drenched, smashing out a podcast. And what this podcast is going to be about today is how you create your own positive environment to help you achieve whatever it is you want to achieve on the internet. So I really think the excuse for not being brought up in the right circumstances or not having the right opportunities or role models is diminishing, because you can do that for yourself on the internet. You can bring in, pull in, find the people that are going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. There are so many people out there now putting out different types of content that can help you learn skills and even injections of positivity if that's what you need. There are whole businesses set up on that, but the content's free and you can choose to digest certain stuff if you want to. But there are temptations out there, and there's easy options, such as the clickbait, such as the attention-grabbing stuff that really doesn't provide any value. It's a capitalistic economy, that it's just designed to get your attention. Someone's earning money out of it. Cool. That's kind of the rawest form of advertising, or the most kind of basic, lowest common denominator kind of stuff. And I do advertising, so I think I'm in a position there to give you my view on it. But yeah, there's obviously the clickbait out there, and often just because of the way there's so many people on the internet and it's difficult to actually determine who's who behind the screen, this the videos that just have large numbers behind them, you can't actually tell who those people are, what their goals and objectives are, what they're trying to do. So they get pumped to the top of feeds, but are they necessarily the best types of content? No, they're not. So I think what you've got to try and do is get really clear about what you want to try and achieve in the next 3 to 6 months, and then also what you want to learn and what you want to develop in yourself, and then go out and find those people and prioritize their content over other people's content. But there's certain ways you got to do it. You've got to set up that each platform, for example YouTube, you can turn notifications off for some things, and you can make sure that people are notifying you of when they're putting new videos up. Likewise on Instagram, you can do that. It's getting into the platforms a bit more and taking control, rather than just letting the default settings of the platforms run. Because the default settings of the platforms, they are programmed. That it is their business. This is something you have to understand. It is their business model to get your eyeballs on their site as much as possible. That is the monetary goal, because advertising is one of their key revenue streams, and that's how brands pay the platforms. If the platforms have a lot of people on their pages, on their site, brands want to be there, because then they can sell their products to the people who are looking at the pages. And that's why the platforms just want to keep you on there as much as possible. So that's just a business model. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying you have to be aware of it and adjust your behavior accordingly. So if you don't want to just watch everything randomly, willy-nilly, and not just waste all your time, be selective. Pick pages, pick stuff you want to look at, and pick stuff you don't want to look at. That's okay. It's not being mean. It's actually being, having a brain and actually making conscious decisions for yourself, and being ambitious and taking control. So do that. And really try and set up this environment online where everything coming down your mobile, your smartphone, is just superb. It's just positive, cracking. There's not much kind of stuff that is going to just come in and grab your attention and not really give you much in return. You always want to be seeing it as an exchange, and try and make that exchange in your favor as much as possible, because the more you do that, down the line, a deal is going to end in your favor. What does that look like? It looks like you achieving your goals and getting on and using the internet to your advantage, rather than, which is the other side of the thesis, which is, I genuinely believe some people, their quality of life, mental, physical, is going to be so much worse than than previous generations, because they do not know how to control their use of their smartphone and the internet, how they think about it, and then how that dictates their actions. Because this stuff on the smartphone, this tech, it's tapping into biological systems within the human brain, how we operate, how we think, cognitive biases, things like that, that you can't, it's very, very difficult to control as a human being. Your split decision making, the on the spot stuff, the stuff that you don't even realise you've made a decision about. Why did you click the blue ad rather than the red ad? We're talking about that all the time where I work. That kind of stuff. The tech platforms have the data on that. That's coming through to them. They're seeing it at a huge scale, and then able to make adjustments to their business and their technology off the back of those insights, which I think is it's a huge advantage, because they are getting that psyche into how humans are actually behaving, that insight into how humans are actually behaving. But you have to be conscious of it, that just try to set things up so that actually in your best interests, rather than just letting things run. And then at the end of the game, just kind of holding your hands up and being like, oh, I didn't realise that. And I'm trying to tell you here that you can get ahead, you can be proactive and really set this stuff up to help you out, rather than be a bit of a hindrance and kind of incapacitate you from doing anything, because you're just spending all your time and attention on this thing and not actually doing anything. You're just thinking and pondering and spectating. So look at that stuff that you're digesting on the internet, and switch it up to ladder up into your goals. It's as simple as that. Use the platforms, get deep, notifications, select who you want to follow, who you don't want to follow, select the frequency, select try and dictate your newsfeed as much as possible. In fact, I need to go into this more and maybe demo some stuff, just so you guys can kind of mirror or take what you want from my setup, and then go from there. Anyway, check it out. Have a cracking day.